Well. Good evening. How's everyone doing tonight? It's just me tonight. Spoke to Stefanos about 15 minutes ago. He's on his way to an appointment. Yeah, it's legally related. He could not get out of it. He could not change it. He had to go tonight. And Bam Bam was supposed to come on tonight. Bam Bam's the guy that's been going to various neighborhoods, finding out where the pedophiles live, and yelling at the top of his lungs with, make people aware that there's trouble in the neighborhood. Because if you don't know there's danger, what are you going to do about it? And then, anyways, he's down in St. Catharines area also. What's in the chat here? Anything we talking to here? So Stefanos, it's just me tonight, guys. What do you want to put in the chat? Has anyone been following what's going on with the CFIA and the ostriches? If you guys would dig into the past history of these people, this goes back 20 years at least. There's been a lot of nefarious stuff. There's been a lot of investments made into ostrich farming. People have been lost their investments. There have been court cases in the past. So the grift continues, and people are saying it's a psyop. Well, if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck. And I'm getting a lot of pushback on this because a lot of people are buying into all the hype. And it is typical psyop hype that I'm witnessing on with this ostrich farm. There's people I've associated with before, and they're all for it. What can I say? Some people are good scammers. All kinds of money has been donated to these people, and what are they doing with it? They say the stories change every couple weeks. They keep coming up with more and more reasons to donate money. I don't know. Give us the good stuff, boys. You know what? I'm going to let these people get suckered. We've come out. We've said it's a. I don't want the ostriches to die, obviously, myself personally, but these birds, they're pet birds. You think I'd ever inject my dog with a spike protein or something like that and get paid for my dog to do a drug trial or a protein trial looking to see if my dog can develop antibodies against the spike protein? And what bothers me about all this COVID shit, you've seen it from the beginning. They've never isolated COVID or C19 in a human. What do? Well, they claim they have. Bullshit. We had, see, even Bubba doesn't believe. I don't know if you hear her barking. She's mad about it too. COVID-19 has never been isolated in a human. Now, why is that? Tell me, why is it that they've never been able to isolate it in a human? JJ says, Ed, case closed. I don't know how people can forget. So some people have such short-term memories. I never got the jab. I'm doing fine. And I even smoke. I drink. I'm single. I don't eat that well, but reasonably saying I'm a bit overweight. But, I've had issues from accidents in my past, like going way back 20 years, and it takes a toll. But, I keep trying to make better choices in life and improve my situation and my health if I can. I've cut way back on the drinking. I don't smoke in my new truck at all, so I'm taking the pouches. So, yeah, I'm cutting back a bit on the cigarettes, but not too much. And then you got Dr. Artis claiming, yeah, if you're taking nicotine, that's why the COVID-19 never bothered you. Well, he is a chiropractor, but it is what it is. He makes some pretty big claims too about COVID-19. So these ostriches were apparently inoculated with the spike virus. So this is a lab experiment. They're getting big money to sell these eggs that had immunities, apparently, to Big Pharma. So Big Pharma's in on this. Big Pharma brought us COVID-19. Big Pharma brought us the jabs that have crippled so many of our friends and family. Is this fact yet or not? I think it's fact. It's been out there, but people stick their head in sand just like an ostrich, thinking the problem's going to go away. No, it hasn't gone away. So, anyways, these pet birds that they claim, they love their birds. They love the birds because they're making them money, and the funding ran out. Big Pharma bought out some of these. Oh, they pulled the plug on some things, and they bought out. Memory's not serving me well, but they bought out some of the labs, some of the data. Big Pharma's all over this thing, and we're being grifted bad. They're getting all kinds of money. Apparently, they had a GoFundMe up for when the barn fell down. Bubba, knock it off. Somebody must be walking the dog up the street. Yeah, it's a total shit show, isn't it? It is a shit show. And is CFIA doing the job? I'm not in favor of government overreach also. But here's my line in the sand. If these ostriches were not injected with anything, if they're natural ostriches, they weren't lab experiments, yeah, I'd be protesting the CFIA's overreach because then they'd have no case at all. But here's the thing. Dr. Nagase even came out and said it's standard practice when you do a lab experiment and you're playing with these things, you kill the animals or you kill the rats after the experiment's done so that they don't become, start producing superbugs. Or if you get, say, H1N1 joins with this alleged spike protein. Now, are we going to get a super bird spike protein coming out of that? It's possible. There is a risk. That's why they usually kill the lab animals. Hesham says, I think it's best to wait for Stefanos to come to discuss the ostrich farm. He's pissed off about it. Here, somebody wants to have sex with the bio birds. I don't recommend that. Lots of info on the biolab. And that kills their natural antibodies. I'm not a scientist, guys. I can't claim that I am. But I did do okay in school. And from my limited knowledge and from speaking to a lot of people and watching all the shit we've gone through with COVID, man, is it mind blowing. Look how many people got suckered into taking these experimental jabs. And I kept telling my family or whoever I speak to about this, it's an experimental vaccine. Yes or no? Says, yeah. But it's been approved. Yeah, it's been approved as an experimental vaccine. Why don't you wait? And they said, no, the government would never approve it unless it was safe. Really? So you got how many people died suddenly when the people were down at CBC putting stickers on the front of the CBC in Toronto a few years ago, and CBC, all the employees got notices: use the back door, do not enter the front door. You know why? Because all those people, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people that have died prematurely, unknown causes. A lot of them. So we know we got pericarditis, which is this inflammation and swelling around the heart. We've got myocarditis, which is swelling of the actual heart. We've had doctors on. We've had people on from the University of Western Waterloo that got cut. They got the axe because they seen what was going on, and they wouldn't stop talking. They brought us the truth, and we knew this was going to happen. Oh man. Hey guys, most people do what governments tell them to do, regardless if it's based on reason or not. That's from Hesham. Clotting. How many people have clots? A personal friend of mine, he only had one jab. Poor guy got who was bedridden almost after about 2 weeks after the jab. And then he developed a blood clot, meanwhile, in his leg. Meanwhile, he thought he had pulled a muscle because it was so painful. He went to the doctor, and the doctor was smart enough to see what the hell's going on. He was out of work. He wasn't able to work, self-employed for a year and a half. He's gone, and this is just one injection of the jab because he wanted to support his wife, who was also getting because work said they had to get it. Meanwhile, Justin Trudeau comes out and says, nobody was forced to get it. You bastards. Nobody was forced. Yeah. Like I had to work long weekends just so I wouldn't have to check in and sign in and wouldn't expose myself to these bastards along with a few other good guys. How about and parents getting cancers like crazy just happen to come out of the blue? SV40. We know SV40 was proven to be in the jabs. SV40 was outlawed in 1961, if I'm not mistaken. They know it causes cancer, and they outlawed it. They weren't supposed to use it in the jabs ever since, and yet these jabs had SV40 in it. It's a known carcinogen. And what happens? The guys that put this shit out, they make millions and millions of dollars paid for by our tax dollars. Justin Trudeau, who got the who was in with invested his money into another company that was based on British Columbia Bio Research, where they um, man, we're going way back. Anyways, they figured out a way to make it more effective. Usually, you just get the jab, goes in your arm, stays there. No, this new shit, these mRNA vaccines with these um, this new technology in it, it goes throughout the body. So we know birth rates are down. We've had nurses coming on. We have reports coming out where nurses, when they deliver a healthy baby, they're just blown away because so many are dying during delivery or stillbirths. Is so common since these jabs were put out. They never did the testing on the pregnant women. We know this for a fact. That's in Pfizer's own documentation. And if you look at the Pfizer documentation, which we did look at 2-3 years ago, a lot of this stuff was untested, and there's all kinds of clauses giving them the out that they can't be sued for this shit because the government was asking for it. So I don't know. Do I gotta remind people what's going on? Oh. Now having dinner and being promoted by Trump in the White House along with Billy Boy. Headmates got jabbed now. Dead. It's so sad. And the worst part is these are good people that thought they were doing the right thing. This is what breaks my balls. The media is complicit. They should all hang. If they put out false information, they didn't do their homework. Even if they're put up to it, they still went in the head. Only a few journalists actually quit. But yeah, they're paid for by our government. And so many people don't realize how much money is going into these CBC, CTV, Global, the radio companies. They were giving influencers, paying them like $25,000 if you take the jab and promote the jab. Easy money if you're an idiot. So they did with J&J, and that's why it was pulled. What did they do? They killed 90+% of babies being carried at the time of injection. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't seen that stat, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, simian virus, SV40. Simian viruses comes from was developed from monkeys. That's why simian monkeys. And these bastards, bro, so tired of all this BS. Well, it keeps coming on, but what are we gonna do? There's people lying to us. There's people pulling on our heartstrings. Do we just sit back and ignore it? Put our head in the sand like an ostrich? No, I've been calling this shit out since started doing these podcasts when we had to cover for Kevin J. Johnston, who also never took the jab. He does not have myocarditis. He's not having blood clots. Funny how all the people that didn't take the jab are doing pretty damn good. Oh man. I'm old like you and cry more than I was as a kid. What are you gonna do? Okay, cry if you want to, but what's it gonna? It's not gonna help anything. You gotta speak the truth. On my truck, I've got a little sticker on the back of the tailgate that said "They lied.ca." You know, we gotta. It's hard to break the programming. You know, these people, not these people, all of us. We got bombarded with all this shit. Even some of our fans, some of our regular listeners and watchers, people that watch our show, watching us for years, we tried warning them. They said, no, we're going to listen to the government. We're going to listen to the media. We're going to take the jab and hope for the best. Well, has anyone ever said, I wish I would have taken the jab that's not jabbed? Has anyone ever said that? The ones that see that what's going on? Brenda, me too. Friends and family gone after the jab. I explained everything to my mom. She was 86 when she passed away. All her grandmothers and aunts lived well into their 95, 96, 98. Mom kicked the bucket at 86 and she suffered. She started having those blood clots, those strokes, mini strokes. And I asked my sister, my sister was taking care of all the of my mom's hospital visits and helping her out, and I was kind of working and holding down the fort. But when I came to visit, because of what some fucking asshole doctor said, your son's not vaccinated, he's not wearing a mask, you should stay away from him because he can make you sick. You took the 2 jabs. You never admitted to me, but I found out from my sister-in-law that you were taking the jabs, and I understand. You got to take those jabs, otherwise they're not going to treat you in the hospital. My mom would still be here today if she never took those damn jabs. And how about sticking those swabs all the way up the nose, really close to the one of the glands in the brain? What the hell was on those swabs? There's always black specks on that shit. I never took any of those, but a lot of people did. So we never did find out what the hell was on those things. Yeah, everybody has been bombarded. Everyone has been bombarded with so much military information that's been thrown at us to create disorganized chaos. Yep, and here it goes again with these freaking ostriches. My line in the sand, guys. If this was just a regular ostrich farm where they're breeding these ostriches for meat or for oil or for feathers or whatever, and they did not inject these birds with who knows what, I'd be out there fighting the CFIA on this thing. But because they injected these damn birds with some shit, which we don't really know what it was, we're just going off of first-hand experiences. And the fact that they were making money, huge money off of the eggs, because they had antibodies apparently to a virus that again has never been isolated in a human. So they're lying to us left, right, and center. What else we got in the chat here? No idea. Been poking people for decades. Woke up like 3 after talking to thousands. There was cancer-causing agents. That's what SV40 was, simian virus 40. It's a known carcinogen. They are not supposed to use that in the injections, and yet they were using it in these last jabs. It was provided by labs. Enough said. Okay, so we're talking about whatever was injected into these birds was provided by the labs. So everyone says, "Oh, I got no heart." People are telling me to screw off on when I make comments on Jim Kerr's or Sandra Kerr's on the Kerr's when they're doing their lives. So I'm catching a bit of this stuff. They're lab rats, or they're ostrich lab rats. And some people say, well, you're allowed to have open air. You're allowed to have open air labs. Well, I don't know about that, especially if they're worried about the avian flu and the wild birds contaminating the ostriches. You can put netting up in there. You can put on like a 1-inch, half-inch netting. It's not that expensive. Would keep all the birds out. Works to keep the birds out of the cherry trees. Why not put it around the ostriches if they're worried about contact with wild birds and such? They could have taken precautions, but it's always been about the money, guys. This is what breaks my balls. These people have been swindling people that I'm found at today. Not thousands, not tens of thousands, but millions of dollars. Investors invest in ostriches. You're going to make money. A lot of those people got swindled. They lost court cases. This is going back in the 90s. The information is out there. Okay. Oh, yeah. Positive and negative tests from 2021. So they had calibration strips. I love this one. You can calibrate your machine to give you false positives, or you can calibrate your machine to give you false negatives. What flavor do you want this particular day? That's how they calibrated this shit. They kept that pretty quiet, didn't they? Okay, Katie, she's one of the people from the ostrich farm, received 13 million. That's a lot of money for what, 400 birds? Now, I don't think Katie received the actual 13 million. I think it was one of the doctors from Japan that was grifting around the world trying to get money for this ostrich research. He got the 13 million, or maybe the bioscience lab got 13 million. These guys, I don't think they got that much money, but they got some money. They're getting big money for these eggs that they're producing. They're offered uh, an average ostrich goes for about $3,000 to $5,000 if you want to buy one. But these at the ostrich farm, they claim that these ostriches were worth $98,000 because they had some special immunity. And there are pets. Bullshit. Who jabs their pets and turns your pet into a science experiment? They're not your pets. It's all about the money. CFI offered $3,000 a bird. Well, they already made money off these birds. Why not take the $3,000? You got the ostrich eggs. Why not grow new ostriches? Oh, but they've got special immunity, so it can't be done again. It's only one time offer. Yeah, right. They're still grifting. Yep. They said no because unlike normal ostriches that are worth $7,000 per adult, these antibody producing ones are apparently $93,000. Interesting. See, it's about the money again. I don't know. Maybe I'll start an ostrich farm and a biolab, and I'll put some netting up, and maybe I can cash in on this shit. But I'm not going to sell them as dog food. I'm not going to sell them to the public. When the experiment's done, we'll kill these birds. Or we can do this with rats. We can do this with bunnies. These things are killed all the time. And then there's some friends of mine that are saying it's a UN plan. It's part of Agenda 2030. Okay, so what? So even if it is part of it, they're going to look at the fact that they said, okay, these birds are injected. These birds got the spike protein. They've got the antibodies. If we kill them, then they can kill all of us other people that took the experimental injections for the same reason. Or me, I can get called because I was exposed to these people that were injected and shedding and what have you. Oh, yeah, it was the lab in Montreal that got the 13 million bucks, Kelly. But they get paid a portion upon completion of research, which include culling. So now, if you're going to make those kind of statements, you got to have paper. You got to bring receipts. You got any documentation that proves that? Eggs are produced every 2 days, and they go for good money. Now they say you can save hundreds of rabbits because these eggs are equivalent of, the antibodies you can get from rabbit blood. So whatever, new technology. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Mind you, running a farm is not cheap. Okay, Immune Biosolutions Inc., who is contracted with Omega Ostrich Inc., who is also contracted by CFIA to cull experimental flocks. So, for once, maybe our government is actually doing what they should be. Um, do it, mate. Do what? Yeah, let's appeal to people's emotions. That's how you make a selling off of these things. Okay, more people that are sucking money out of this thing. Or Universal Ostrich Farm, Omega Ostrich Inc. This stuff is all tied together. It's big money. Those who took the jabs once wanted us cold. Remember that? Remember that Toronto Star article? If you don't take the jab, you should not be allowed in the hospital. If you should wait in line, you have no right getting Medicare. Oh, we couldn't fly. We couldn't go on trains. We couldn't work. We couldn't go shopping. It was fucking crazy. I remember those days. But you know what? Screw them. Emotions got me. And when you're getting emotional, that's when you gotta think, hey, why am I getting emotional? Who's playing me? Why am I being played? How am I being played? So yeah, do I try to keep a cool head? Absolutely, because it's just one of the ways you can see through this. And critical thinking. What is critical thinking? Is it believing whatever you're told? Or is it thinking, hey, is there another agenda going on here? Let's follow the money. Who benefits? Who loses? There's just so many ways of looking at this. So some people say I'm pessimist. Well, not really. Actually, I'm quite positive. I was hoping all the Antifa that took the jobs would have been dead by now. We'd have a much better society to live in. I don't like Satanists. That's why I don't care for Antifa. And my parents left the communist country. I've been to Cuba dozens of times. Communism sucks, people, and we're almost there. C6, C9, all these bills are coming down. Especially with repeating lines and scripted live streams. It is scripted. This is live, guys. I got nothing here. I got no notes. This is just going off your chat. You and Stefanos are real. That's why we are here, brother. How do you know we're not AI? Actually, they can't screw up the mustache, salt and pepper either. I don't know if AI's got, but look, 5 fingers. AI usually has 6. Anyways, guys, please don't buy into the ostrich bullshit. Think for yourselves. Don't take my word for it. Do some research. Maybe next week we'll be talking more about this stuff. We'll bring receipts this time. Bam Bam was supposed to be coming on tonight. I explained to that earlier. He could not make it tonight either. He said if he's going to do a live stream, again, he wants to bring receipts. He wants to bring papers, documentation, show everyone this stuff is legit, what he's doing, and get more people involved, not just hearsay. And yeah, he gets emotional because it's kids are being diddled, and then worse. Question: does anyone remember 2019? I remember 2019. You know what I was doing? I was on the bridge just east of Markham, hanging a flag off of the overpass there. It was a Canadian flag that had bullet holes in it. It had a smiley face. The smiley face mouth was zipped closed. And we also had the maple leaf had fallen down, and it was a big UN thing in the middle of the where the maple leaf was, because we're getting taken over by the UN. And there's bullet holes because people are getting killed. Yellow vest, that was 2019. And then I got sick November for about 3 weeks off and on, and I think that could have been whatever cold or virus or whatever it was. I don't know. Could have been toxins. If you caught last week's show, Dr. Lee Merritt, she thinks it's a lot of stuff is toxins in our food, in the air, in our water. Could be in our households, off gassing. We know sick building syndrome. Remember sick building syndrome? It still exists. It's still a thing. People go to work in these office towers. With building technology, they've tightened it up with good caulking, good sealants. And then to save money on heating and air conditioning, they used to bring in fresh air from outside. You used to be able to open your windows 100 years ago on these tall office buildings or crack them open a bit. But sick building syndrome is what? You've got carpeting. New carpeting goes into the building. You got glues. The glues evaporate. They off gas. You're breathing this crap in. Used to be able to smoke in office buildings, but it didn't really bother the people that didn't smoke because you opened the windows and the smoke would blow out and you barely even knew that somebody was smoking. But now buildings are so tight. That's why there's no smoking everywhere, because to save energy, to save heat, save air conditioning, which is energy, you got to cool the air, you got to warm the air. They tighten these buildings down so tight that there's almost no fresh air. And so sick building syndrome is people wear their cologne, they wear uh, carpeting is off gassing. Even cabinetry off gases for like 5 to 10 years, depending on the type of particle board that's used in the cabinetry. Cleaners, people come in at night, they use chemicals to clean the rooms, clean the offices. That could be a toxin. It's staying in there. It's not getting blown outside because the buildings are so damn tight. And this is why people would come in. They'd say, "Oh, during COVID, it was great. I was at home, open the windows. You don't have to breathe all that stinky office air." So some people felt much better when they started working from home. So pollution's in the atmosphere. If you get it out into the window, it gets diluted, you get fresher air. The fact that the show is shadow banned proves you guys aren't AI. Laugh out loud. Oh, thank you, Hesham. They're putting chemicals in the water that are turning the. Oh, I just had the name of that atrazine, I believe, is a chemical. It's byproduct of fertilizer. So yeah, he gets it right sometimes. Ultraviolet light. It's known UV light is known to kill. Is it bacteria? Certain bacterias. That's why I have UV light treated water. They're putting that in well waters to kill a lot of the bacteria that may inhabit the water. Now, had they been using UV lights up in Flesherton, we wouldn't have all these. Those people wouldn't have gotten sick because there was water runoff going into an open well that contaminated the water up in Flesherton. And someone's saying, well, "What are you talking about, Flesherton? You guys know where Barrie is? Well, if you go northwest of Barrie for about an hour, north of Shelburne for about 15, 20 minutes, you'll hit the little town called Flesherton. City water, and they weren't chlorinating properly, and because there's cows around, and cows produce bacteria when they have their mud pies. And if you don't watch the water supply, some of that stuff gets into our drinking water. That's why the greatest scientific breakthroughs we had, some people say it's antibiotics. I think it was good quality drinking water and good sanitation that made so many people live much longer. Back in England, your dudes, people used to before flushing toilets, go back a couple hundred years. People used to take a dump in a can or a pail or something, and throw it out on the street. Horses used to shit on the street. There's people that actually cleaned the dung. It was human and horse waste, cat waste, dog waste off the streets. That's why people all wore boots that lived in the cities. Walk through that shit. You didn't dare drink the water. If you did, you got sick. That's why everyone drank beer, because fermentation and the alcohol kills off a lot of these bad things. That's why you've got to scrape. They say use rubbing alcohol or even stop an infection. They've been spraying the skies up north all summer. Today was really bad. Actually, this morning when I got up, I got outside around 7:15, 7:30, clear sky. As far as the eye could see. By 9 o'clock, yeah, you could see they were spraying. So it's going to rain somewhere in 48 hours. Watch. Blue screens, Wi-Fi, chemical aerosol cleaners, fabrics. You wear earpods. Everyone needs to make clean choices. I'm a big fan of wool and cotton. Try to stay away from spandex and all those synthetics as much as possible. Chemical aerosol cleaner. You know what's a great cleaner? Baking soda and water. It's amazing. It's even good on your teeth. But don't use it too often, maybe once a month on your teeth. But yeah, for ceramic tile, baking soda and water is amazing. Amazing. And for sinks and that. Fabrics that you wear. Some people get allergic to latex. A lot of these synthetics are made from oil. Earpods. The wired ones are not bad, but the earpods that are actually wireless, you're nuking your brains, guys. So don't be surprised if you get a tumor soon. I've got them. I'll only wear them if I have absolutely no choice but to wear them for, say, a podcast for an hour or something. But I'd rather use this thing, a microphone, instead of having the earpods. Everyone needs to make clean choices, even the food we eat. You got to appeal. Remember Appeal? It's I believe it was Bill Gates is behind that, where they're spraying some kind of crap on the outside of the fruit so it lasts 2 to 3 weeks instead of going bad after 4 or 5 days. Yeah, but Ontario is terrible. Alberta, not much better. Actually, in some ways, Alberta is way worse. The courts there are so screwed up. They don't give a shit. They do what the hell they want. Spring here, horrendous today. What area? 10 picks, mate in Australia. He can't believe it. You know what's nice about going to Europe? I never saw any chemtrails, but I saw a lot of jets flying around. Argentina last winter, 3.5 months. There was planes taking off every 10 minutes. Never saw, if I saw, I think I saw one or two condensation trails. Witnessed thousands of jets literally flying. So they're not spraying down there. And we know the Americans have been spraying because we can track the planes coming up from the States and they do spray up here. Don't wear polyester underwear too. Never have. I can honestly say, mind you, there is some synthetics in the waistband. So, yes, appeal is not digestible. We know this. Thank you, Val. Alberta is planning to bring in the digital ID following the UK. They got last weekend, I heard within 24 hours, they had over 1 million signatures. So I think that's going to take off like crazy. A lot of people have woken up over there. Especially never a straight answer planes. I don't know if NASA's doing it. I haven't seen that. Someone's doing it. Someone's definitely doing it. Anyways, any questions, guys? Put them in the chat. I'm going to shut this. Oh, man, 41 minutes already. But no, Stefanos is not coming in. He's doing interviews. So next week, I will be out of the city for a whole week. And I'm not going to have to listen to anything because I'm not even tuned into Facebook or watch any lives or anything. But yeah, we'll be back Thursday. Got a lot of stuff on tap. We got to talk about what's happening with the dollar. Some people are talking to me today. They're really worried about the fact that the U.S. Federal government shut down today. We had this before, guys. I think the government, American government, shut down because of the budget wasn't passed. I think it was in 2019 was the last time. So this is politics. I don't know how the American political system works that well. You got three separate houses. You got the presidency. Then there's Congress, and then there's Senate, I believe. Anyways, they have their own responsibilities. You got three bodies of government that are supposed to keep each other in check. So yeah, who knows? There's some kind of monkey business going on with that. But they say the government shut down. No, people are still going to work. It just means they're not getting their paycheck. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer to get their paycheck for a couple of weeks. Most of the government workers are actually going to work. Some stuff might be delayed, but America's not shutting down. Now, what I find out, are they going to use this as a way to raise money? I did hear that they're, this is not confirmed though, that the federal bank has been shut down. Now, the federal bank is not a real bank. It is a privately held bank. The Fed chair, I believe the president has a choice of who gets elected to the federal chair. So you got your Ben Bernanke's. I don't know who it is right now. I'm just reading through the chat here. Don't get worried about the U.S. shutting down. I'm paying attention. We are still on the road. Stay the course. Oh, again, the budget, was the budget approved or not? If someone can put that in the chat. So paychecks, people are going to still go to work because if they don't go to work, they're not going to get their pay even say a couple weeks or a month later when the budget is passed. Now, Trump has been talking a lot about those coins. What are they called? Stable coins. What I've been finding through the grapevine is stable coins is nothing more than something similar to a Bitcoin. And what you're going to do is you're going to get stable coins. They're going to take that cash and use that to buy the treasury bonds. Nobody wants to buy UST bills anymore. China's been selling them off. The Federal Reserve, they've got to get financing. The American government needs financing because it's all borrowed money that they operate under. But if no one's buying these T-bills, it's like Canada savings bonds back in the day. I don't know if anybody remembers. If you're born before the 70s or in the 60s, you probably remember your parents would buy a Canada savings bond. I think the rate was like 7 or 8%. So you double your money in 5 years. So it paid better than what the banks did, but you lost use of that money for a full 5 years. And that's how we used to subsidize or raise cash for government projects when the government budget was messed up or if they didn't have enough money in the system. So they would borrow our cash or our savings and give us a return. Now, when Pierre Elliott Trudeau, the communist bastard that he is, became leader of Canada in the 70s, well, it was 71, 72 or 73, he cut a deal with the Rothschilds, and our Bank of Canada was sold to the globalists. Before that, we only had like $1 billion of debt on the books, and that was paid for with Canada's savings bonds, a lot of it. And they also had treasury bills, but that's all gone now. So they're just, our Canadian dollar, which is why one of the reasons why it's worthless, because a lot of people know it's just paper shit. They print it out of thin air. So back to the stable coins. So if you can imagine electronic token, they're going to call it a stable coin because it sounds good. They're going to take your money, put it into T-bills, and issue you an electronic stable coin. They're going to be pushing this like crazy. It's going to last 6 months, maybe a year, and then in comes the central banking digital currency. That's what's next. So the stable coins, it's coming in the Americas, and they're going to try to push that because it sounds stable. It's a good form. It's probably better than gold. No, it ain't. It sure as hell is a silver. Oh my goodness. I don't know how, but Stefanos popped in for a split second. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he's going to join us. Monopoly money and plastic. That's why it's monopoly money and plastic, like a garbage bag. All currencies go to zero. They always have. They always will. Currency, not money. Currency. Gold and silver have always had some value to them throughout history. Will they going forward? I'm pretty sure they will. Because even in the Bible, gold and silver is God's money. I wonder if Stefanos is going to come in. Kind of doubt it, though. I don't know what else to tell you guys. CBDC programming, all of it. Okay, Val's got a comment here. No, U.S. budget was not approved by October 2nd, 2025. Instead, the federal government entered a shutdown on October 1st, 2025, because Congress failed to pass the required appropriations or a stopgap funding measure. Okay, so basically what I said, they haven't approved the funds yet. Stefanos, you trying to get in here or what? You're having problems, I see. Oh, there he is in the background. Let's bring him in. Better
late than never, Ed. Freaking man, oh man, I'm surprised I didn't get a ticket.
So anyways, we're talking about stable coins. Talked a little bit about the ostrich. We're talking about so Congress failed to pass the required appropriations or stopgap funding measure, according to Val. Val's Canadian living in, I think Arizona. So people are freaking out about that. No, this has happened before. Nothing new. What do you got for us?
I don't know, Ed. I don't know. I'm trying to know the fixes in on the ostriches. People, they never ever check out.
Okay, I am messing with your microphone settings. Let's see if it works now.
Are you messing? It's not working?
Yeah, it's working better, isn't it?
I don't know.
Sound better or not? Put something in the chat. There's a 10-second delay.
It's just because you're, if you don't mute your mic when I talk, it cuts off, and vice versa. If I don't mute mine, it cuts you off.
So does gold and silver have the same idea of worth, something like fiat cash? No. If you hold silver and gold, there's no counterparty risk. If you think back of the way in the States when they first came out with paper money, if I had it, I wish I had one of those old ones. It said the bearer, this is will get so much in silver or gold. It was portability. That's what cash claimed. It was a note. So you could take your note and they would give you the gold or the silver value for it. That's the way it was in the beginning. And now here we are generations later thinking, well, we all accept it as value. Nixon took the Americans off the gold standard. 72 or 73 was it? Or 71?
I think, wasn't it 60, late 60s? I think late 60s, somewhere's around there.
Hey, Kelly says you're good.
She only wishes she could find out if I was or not. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, they were gold and silver notes, and that's what they're. It was a lot easier to carry a piece of paper than the actual coin, and that's how fiat currencies were came about. Now, in the United States in the 1800s, they had no rising federal debt. The economy was booming. The greatest amount of people were raised out of poverty. We had technology, industrialization. Things were great when we had no paper currency, when it was all based on silver and gold. Now you had problems with coin clipping. There's certain religious people that would clip the edges of coins. That's why they put all the ridges on them, so you could tell if it's been clipped or not, because instead of having a 1 ounce coin, it was 0.95 ounces. So they expect you to give you a full ounce of value. So that's the bullshit that happened there. Kelly says it's something about the sound.
she wouldn't
Not many
know
words.
either. All right, so this is the this is the thing. I don't know if anybody has freaking clued into anything or not, but they notice we've made no technological advances. There's been no production in anything. Industry is gone, like stagnant. Wartime till about the 70s or so. It's like they threw the brakes on everything in the 80s, and now we've just been destroying our own country over and over, and now it's just blatant. They don't even try to hide anything anymore. It's just a blatant attempt of our own governments to destroy our economy, destroy our country, period. And it's easy to blame the liberals, but you can't. It's all of these freaking losers are pushing the same shit. They're all saying Canadians don't want to work. We're bringing all these fucking illegals in to take all the jobs up. No, that's bullshit. Which Canadian isn't working right now that doesn't want to work? The only people that don't want to work are people who are communists, who wanna live off of sucking the government teeth. This is what they want to do, and that's what communism does here. Universal basic income is straight up communism. We're gonna give you $28,000 a year. That's fucking poverty line shit. Fucking people are gonna think they're gonna work. Other people can get by it because they're used to living life without even making that a year. So to them, that's a bonus. And when you do that, why would somebody want to work if they don't have to? So this is a big problem that these idiots are trying to pull. And it's, look at Doug Ford. He's no different. He's fucking chasing companies out of Ontario. Never mind. Look what he done to Crown Royal. And the idiot's like, here's a Canadian company. I'm going to pour your booze out. The guy's a fucking buffoon moron. That's all I can say. Economy, he doesn't know shit about economics except when it comes to stuffing his own pocket like the stickers and shit for COVID.
Are you calling Doug Ford a Yahoo?
Okay, he's a Yahoo. That's exactly what I called him. I'm
No,
sorry.
but no. Because
Yahoo.
if he was a Yahoo, he'd be joining us on Saturdays protesting.
Yeah, he's a Yahoo, but he called us the Yahoo, but he forgot to look in the mirror.
People grifting at the Ostrich Biolab. You want to talk about? You got any comments on that one? I already
Hey,
spoke about
I'm going
that.
to give only one. I'm going to send you a link in the private chat so you can see it yourself. Now, there's the link. I posted the picture of Karen Esperson bragging because, you know, people who make millions can't help but to fucking brag. So Esperson went on this little stretch here on all of these companies they're in. We are now working. I'm reading from her post. Okay, this is not made up. We are now working with ostrich antibodies and Ostrich Pharma USA. These amazing animals have blah, 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 the immune system garbage, and they try to say it's better than using rabbits and blah, blah. And remember, this is the bullshit, the biggest bullshit line. Their work doesn't, where is it? Okay. One ostrich egg is the same as 800 rabbits worth of antibodies, and we do not hurt any animals. Okay, that's a big falsehood. Those are a play on words. They're fucking lying to you straight up, fucking liars, because they are hurting the animals. They try to push it off to you as being because it's an egg, so it's not the animal per se, it's the egg. But what they don't tell you, well, sorry, not that they don't tell you, they've said it before and it's all in the court documents. They're injecting animals with God knows what, which makes them sick, and some die from it. So the line that they don't hurt any animals is complete falsehood. That's a fucking all out fucking lie. So, and then they try to humanize these things to suck people in and pull on their heartstrings because I don't know about you guys, but I don't, inject my dog or my cats with shit. I don't give them shit to make them sick on purpose and, die. Maybe one or two will die or something. But, that's how it is. Piss off, John, you fucking loser. You're the grifter. Actually, you're a state paid actor, you fucking Antifa goof. But, these fucking people, they're the ones that are grifting you because that page I just showed you is Ostrich Pharma USA, okay? And if you look at these guys' charts and shit, what was it, $403 billion or some shit like that? These guys are rolling in the money, and that's all they believe. And you'll see the founder is Yashiro Tsukamoto. And Yashiro Tsukamoto is the same guy who, what the hell was it called? Stuthio Bioscience or some shit like that, who Esperson and company are co-owners of. So they're the co-owners with this guy and the university in Japan. So this is big pharma, guys. Don't be fooled one bit. They are big pharma. This company is active. It's a for-profit type company. I'm just looking for the thing which says about the money. So Asian Pacific APAC. So the biotechnology companies, 7,489 organizations altogether, $120.2 billion in total funding amount that they've gotten out of 13,143 investors. Kyoto companies, imagine that, the Kyoto Pragmatic University or whatever the fuck they call it in Japan, $917.9 million total funding amount out of 672 number of investors. Biopharma companies with fewer than 1,000 employees, right? 4,313 number of organizations at $1.67.6 billion. Okay, with 9,860 investors. So they're saying the amount of investors and these billions of dollars. those are, extremely wealthy people. And and this Sukamoto, that's the guy with the WEF who came up with the glowing ostrich mask. These guys are hooked in with all of these people, and they're sucking you for your hard-earned money in a time where everybody is hurting for money. And we've seen uh, the Dr. Nagazi's explanation with this when they have contracts with government and whatever. In the contracts, these things are to be killed. The second contract is signed, that signs whatever animal is being tested on, that signs their death warrant. So these animals will be killed, period. And all you're doing is playing into their bullshit. They're pulling on the heartstrings of everybody, getting them to get your pennies to them, so they can enjoy life a little bit better. So there's so many things. And actually, Justin brings up a real good comment here. Hey, iPads. They have 280,000, I think it was, something in donations, and they're asking people to donate iPads. So fucking buy the iPads, you fucking morons. Like, the amount of money they've raised on GoFundMe and Give Send Go, because there's apparently there's multiple ones. The other time it was over 300,000 that I seen. So how much money have they taken? Has it been fucking $500,000? I'll tell you right now, it's not going to cost them $500,000 from start to finish at the Supreme Court of Canada for this case to go through. So that's just bullshit too. So you're being manipulated. They're playing on your heartstrings. The crocodile tears, that's another one. Absolutely. You'll see her go 1 second from pretending to cry to she's all happy and giggling. The gig is up. Nobody has 400 ostriches. And as a matter of fact, I think it was Jim Kerr just said that they only have like 330 ostriches or some shit. And there was only, because some escaped apparently, and there was only 300 and something else before the escape. So they're down to about 330. And, that's about it. Like, these fucks are, you got a fucking lefty commie Antifa boy, John, in the comments here. Look at this shit. We're doxing them, right? We're doxing them, supposedly. This idiot doesn't even know what the fuck the meaning of doxing is. And this is the type of lefty scumbags you got that are trying to push the jabs that killed all these children, women, and men around the world, and from big pharma companies like this. And this fucking idiot is going for it. And not to mention the other morons. So they're banning our poultry. So they're destroying our poultry business. So all these countries, it's not just the USA. There's several. There's about 50, 60 countries now that have banned Canadian poultry. And then you'll get the fucking idiots that are sitting there, oh, that's only zones. You know how many fucking poultry farms are up there in freaking Canada? You don't have any clue how many there are? And these aren't fucking pets at all. Like, people don't even know there's just a handful of poultry farms in Canada. So when they're sitting there saying they're gonna ban certain zones, these idiots are dismissing it. But that's our economy, and it's not just banning certain zones that's a problem. The issue is these zones are a big part of our economy. So if they're banning the zones, then there you go. And they always resort to violence. Like, look at this fucking idiot. He wants to meet up, bitch. You want to resort to violence? How about you just stick your head up your ass and fight for air, idiot? I don't have time to waste for fucking morons like you. Just lefty. Oh, now I better watch my fucking mouth. You wash your fucking mouth. You kiss your mother with that mouth, bitch. Like, this is the kind of, and I hope you're all seeing exactly what kind of psychopaths. This is like the guy who fucking went and shot Charlie Kirk, the same kind of unhinged stupidity over an ostrich somewhere in fucking BC that has killed so many fucking people in the fucking all over the world. And this is on full display for you. So I'm done wasting my time with that loser. He can go cry like a bitch in a corner. But this is the insanity, Ed. This is the insanity that these people are like a fucking cult. They've been brainwashed. This is what the hell is going on in this country, that they can't see past that because they've been duped. They've been so brainwashed. There's hundreds of billions of dollars, 48,000 an egg. It's in the court documents. That's the contract. And if you would work out, like they said, at let's say there's 100 ostriches that are females out of the 400, the amount of eggs that they would produce in 1 year, if they sold those eggs at 48,000, that's in the hundreds of millions of dollars. That's like $100 and something million that they would make a year. But big pharma people have a way of spinning the narrative and brainwashing people by playing on people's emotions and stuff. That's the problem. That's a big problem.
Yeah, brainwashed and boosted. These spike proteins, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but people that are jabbed, they're just not quite right. I noticed a lot of times. Even the driving habits have gotten worse. You can tell someone who's suffering and someone that isn't. Some people are like really with it. Some people they're just not there. It's like, what's going on? Like, are they having microclots in the brain or some things? I think, I look back at other people and they've changed because of these jabs. Look like zombies in grocery stores. I saw two Jeets. I couldn't believe it on the 400, 4:45. I'm thinking, I leave. I see the 400 was moving pretty good, so I figured, okay, I'll take 400 for a mile. I get on the 400, and it's crawling. It's like, what the hell? In just a matter of minutes. Dump truck in the center lane, and to the right of him was another Jeep with a small little car, and he drove his car into the guy's dump truck's bumper, and they're just sitting there on the 400. Rush hour traffic. I'm thinking, oh, you losers, not even that much damage to the car. Why don't you just get out, take a quick picture, pull over the shoulder, let the cars pass? No. They got to stop and sit in the car. Guy sitting in his truck, probably waited for cops, who knows how long. Unbelievable. We need more of these people in our country, don't we? They're not sending us their
Why
best.
the hell not, Ed? It'll boost the insurance company's profits. All our insurance is going to go up. Why the hell
Yeah.
not?
Our insurance goes up. No, thank you.
You bring up a good point there. I remember during the COVID when they started really rolling out all the boosts and everything. Um, I noticed that right away. There was accidents happening, like right in front of my face. I was seeing just at a light. You'd see somebody making a normal turn, and then all of a sudden they go straight right across, right through a freaking light post. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And it was crazy. And constantly seeing this. We see it now too. The highways are getting really dangerous. I've noticed the truckers are extremely dangerous. And one day, going just down the 406, we had a car and a truck, and 406 is 100. And at the spot we were at 100, they were doing like 80. And then one pickup got pissed off, whipped out to the left, to the right hand side to pass on the soft shoulder, basically, and almost slammed into the back of a pickup truck. And that was, I believe it was one of Miller's pickup trucks that were parked on the road doing some road construction. So this is the kind of dangerous situation. You shouldn't pass on the right, but when you're doing that many kilometers and you're all causing a roadblock going down the road, it's insane. It's insane what they're doing.
Yeah, there's no more. People are not as nice on the roads as they used to be. Used to left lane was the fast lane, right lane was a slower lane. Trucks are taking whatever lane they want. They don't give a shit anymore. I see this all the fucking time. Then you wonder why people get pissed off and why there's so much traffic.
Yeah, I did notice. I remember for a little while back, maybe a couple of years, the police and the MTO were pulling trucks over that were driving in the fast lane and stuff, and they were telling them they're supposed to stay in the right lane. You don't see it anymore. They're all over the place. They're even three abreast right across the whole highway, just holding everything up. And one's trying to pass the other guy, and they're doing maybe what 5 kilometers difference in speed to try to get past him, and it's crazy. And we've seen actually Kelly brings up a good point with the fake licenses. They had a sting that I watched, one of the investigating news reporters, and they were just paying, I think it was 6 or 10 grand or something, and they were just getting the licenses handed to them. And the one reporter was pretending that he was one of the guys who wanted to get it done. And then as soon as he said, "No, I don't think I want to do that," or whatever, all of a sudden they started strong arming him and threatening him with violence and give him a beating and stuff if he didn't pay up. So this. It's no laughing matter, but I can't believe that this is fucking Canada. This is what's going on here today.
Yep. Anyways, I had a hard day today. Took me 3 hours to cut the grass. Remember that rain we had last week? Oh boy, the grass grew like crazy. It was 6 inches long. I couldn't believe it.
Just shoot right up when it gets a little bit of water.
Same as a grocery store. They zombie out in the passing lane doing 105. Because drivers these days are inexperienced about the rules on the road, getting licenses legally or using fake licenses from their country of origin. Yeah, they're not sending us their best, guys. I can guarantee you that. And Johnny McDonald said only allow immigrants to come in or of good nature or something like that, paraphrasing. Anyways, John, if you want to have these kind of off remarks, go do it on somebody else's page if you don't mind. We're just trying to bring some good information here. We don't need you to cloud the conversation. Nobody gains by this, anyways. States are using the checkpoints and detaining the drivers at the same time. I think they have to read some kind of kid's book or something, or they won't get through it.
Yeah, they'll pull their license right there if they can't read a kid's book. That's right.
And people are saying, well, that's not fair. Well, sure it is. If you can't read a kid's book, how the hell can you read the signs that are on the highway? You don't know where to go properly. That's why you get these truckers that make a U-turn on a freaking highway and people get killed all the time. We've only seen a couple videos, but how many times this happens without video and it doesn't make it to YouTube or other social media? Oh, you got to read The Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, the cat in the hat.
I was kind of hoping it would be Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, John, let's get this straight. You're the idiot who came on my page and started saying I'm doxing someone when I'm not. You got to learn what the fuck doxing means with. Now you want to come here and say it because you started saying what? I was a state agent, how much I'm getting paid by the state. Who's the one who's saying what? Don't be a little bitch that you are and stop being a little dick. Grow up a little. You need a wellness check or something, like you unhinged over some ostriches.
Anyways, me, John Barassa, Duke Willis go way, way back. We were attacked by Antifa, actually. Anyways, I'm going to cut it off. We've gone way over time again, busted out over 1 hour. And
You can do that, Kelly. I'll agree. And here's a tip. I'm going to give all the guys, single guys, a tip. You're better off just masturbating. It'll save you in the long run because paying alimony really sucks.
all right, we're going to leave the show on that note. Thanks for coming on. And it was having fun just reading with talking to people in the chat tonight and trying to expose some more information. Guys, if you find any value in this show, share it out. See you later.